Welcome to The Why. In our podcast, The Why, we're going to cover topics that are important to SAP customers and to our team. We want you to share this information internally. We want you to share this information outside of SAP Ariba. And we want you to be able to connect with other thought leaders in our business. This week, our podcast, The Why, is at SAP Ariba Live in Las Vegas, which is the place to be for business-to-business commerce. Today, joining me on our podcast, The Why, is Eric Self, the Global Vice President for our Seller Account Management Organization, and Rob Brooks, the Director of Innovation for our Strategic Sellers. Rob, Eric, thank you for joining me today on The Why.
Thanks for having us, John.
Thanks, John.
This week at Ariba Live, we had over 100 strategic suppliers with us talking about all kinds of topics. You held a strategic supplier summit. Could you give us some insights into what you talked about and what do suppliers like and what do they want more of?
Right. Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, it's been a wonderful event so far. We're a little over halfway through. We had about 25 of our top suppliers in our workshop yesterday, which really gave us an opportunity to hear from them about the things that they would like to see more of from Ariba and where we're doing well, maybe where we have some opportunity to improve.
And what are some of the things that they want to see more of or improve?
Sure. Yeah, this has been an ongoing dialogue for us over really 2017 and now here into 2018 with this particular group. And some of the things that they're most excited about that we're just beginning to mobilize around the work we're doing with our supplier marketing team and the customer marketing team. So they've expressed to us a willingness and an opportunity to help us drive buyer end user adoption through some of the programs that they have within their own company. So it's an exciting opportunity for us to do something we've never done before, which is market with
co-marketing.
The suppliers. That's exactly right. How do we leverage their marketing engines to help drive Ariba end user adoption? And so we're just starting that conversation. There's a lot of exciting opportunity that we're looking forward to working with the buyer side and the buyers and the suppliers to move that piece forward here in 2018.
Fantastic.
Yeah, bringing this group together is always a great opportunity because we get to hear directly from the suppliers and their priorities, and they're very vocal, and we certainly enjoy that feedback. But right now, they're very interested in the turn of the crank of the catalog evolution, and very interested in what has kind of been, the old punch-out and SIF environment has been around forever.
Right.
And as marketplace buying increases and they're looking at other competitive threats, they're asking themselves, how do I differentiate myself, which is where part of the co-marketing discussion goes, but that also has to integrate with technology, which is how do I protect the investment I made in my e-commerce platform, yet still extend into the digital transformation that I'm going through as a supplier, as my buy-side customers are doing the same as well.
Have you found that some of our strategic suppliers who are very proficient at e-commerce really have a stronger catalog, stronger e-commerce capabilities or presence than we do? Is this something that we can really learn from?
Yeah, I think that the suppliers know, as you said, they know more about this than we do in some cases.
Sure.
And so our product and innovation team has really been open and taken the time to listen and work with them on understanding there are innovations coming out of the supplier community that we can tap into.
Right.
And many of them, some of them are even Hybris customers as well. So they're seeing connections that can be made and possibilities in our entire suite end to end, and sharing some interesting perspectives on how to get this done.
Fantastic. Outside of the Strategic Supplier Summit, what are some of the exciting things that the suppliers have told you that they've been interested in? Obviously, a lot of conversation this week on purpose. We saw some things demos on main stage with respect to sourcing and improved collaboration between buyers and suppliers. How's that resonating, or are there other things that are resonating really well?
Yeah, I think the first thing that we hear from the suppliers is just the acknowledgement of the customer base that they are for SAP Ariba.
Sure.
So, it's an emerging...
It was great to hear Sudhir say, suppliers are customers.
Yeah,
huh?
right. And the messaging has been very clear from Barry and Sudhir and the P&I team on down about really embracing this customer group for the customers that they are. So that's definitely been well received from this audience.
Great.
I think the other piece that everyone's very intrigued about is this idea of purpose-driven procurement. What does that look like, and how do top brands take advantage of aligning with SAP Ariba and not only pushing that capability as a brand awareness component, but actually doing it within the application. How are the applications evolving to allow them to be able to showcase their capabilities, their brand, the value add that they have relative to maybe some other suppliers that don't have that, and how does that come to fruition through the products that we're designing and bringing to market.
Got it. Makes sense. I sat in with you, Eric, in the discussion with Grainger. They were very interested in sort of our perspective on Amazon. Do you hear that often from the suppliers as far as viewing Amazon as, I guess, maybe a partner, but more of a threat potentially to them?
Yeah, it really depends upon the supplier, but there are certain suppliers in more mature categories where Amazon is a more direct threat, where they have an extreme interest in trying to align with us. I think the phrase they use for us, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I think it's different.
So I guess that makes us friends?
Yeah.
Is that the way that works?
we are friends. And they'll tell us we actually just had a lunch with the same Grainger team, and this is several days on from that conversation, and they said, we really see Ariba as an alternative for us that's much more viable than Amazon because of the approach you're taking to the marketplace and the customer perspective that you've got that we don't see happening from Amazon. So they've kicked the tires on all of these marketplaces, and to hear the customer say that Ariba is the one that they want to continue to move forward with is really satisfying about the strategic direction that we have relative to what we're doing about Amazon.
Yeah, no, that's exciting, and I think a big challenge area for everybody, going forward. Stepping outside of the Las Vegas bubble, can you talk just a little bit about some of the trends you hear from the strategic suppliers or any suppliers sort of around the world? Do you hear about risk? Do you hear about some of the same differentiation, help me sell more, help me differentiate more? Are the things you're hearing from companies in Asia different than the companies we talked to this week here in Las Vegas?
Yeah, depending upon the market and the maturity of that market, you hear different things. So if you kind of take a region by region in the Ariba landscape, the customers in Europe are very excited about us moving forward with our spot buy solution for that market. So they see it as another channel opportunity for them in Europe, both North American suppliers and European suppliers that have a presence in that market or want to build that presence. So that's thematically one of the things we see coming out of Europe. And one of the areas where we see a lot of interest, and I'll maybe let Rob talk about this, is on some of the data privacy and security pieces.
Yeah, that's certainly changing, and it is changing now, right?
Yeah, security now is an interesting topic because we're seeing this sort of additional wave of challenges that are emerging, and some of them are sort of the natural part of an IT cycle. But it seems that every few weeks or months we've got another something to patch, fix, update, and or increase in regulations, which are causing IT projects and notifications to be done quickly. So I think from the IT perspective is getting back into this, and it's not just business conversations, but it's technical and keeping all the infrastructure updated and running, and just understanding now that this channel has become like a utility.
Sure.
And if you break it, then bad things will be happening in the business. So everyone's very alert and aware of these as they come up, and trying to make sure they're securing their data and keeping their businesses running.
Fantastic. Well, one final question for both of you. What do you see as the most exciting topic, for our sellers in 2018?
Yeah, I really, I'm going to give two, and they
right.
both really revolve around the sell more component. There's a lot of appetite from the supplier community about the work we're doing on the catalog piece that Rob touched on earlier.
Right.
We have a long ways to go, and
Sure.
there's great demand to see us move forward, and the things that we've been talking about, formulating what we're going to do in that area, beginning to do some development on those here, and hopefully have something out at the end of this year. There's a lot of excitement around that. And the other one is the co-marketing that I mentioned, because it's something we've never really tried before.
Right.
To market with the suppliers, there's a lot of excitement around what could be possible when we align buyers and suppliers with SAP Ariba.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I would say to extend that further, it's certainly the catalog platform and the marketplace aspect, having control of their content, but also understanding how it's used and displayed. And that ties it directly with the co-marketing, because I think we're working to have some more direct enablement projects where the suppliers are more involved directly up front. What are you buying? How are you buying it? Not just, here's my catalog, I hope you guys find me. And so extending and getting the suppliers more engaged earlier in the buying process is part of that co-marketing thing where we bridge the technology and the process and the messaging so that it drives more business for those suppliers.
Right. Well, we've certainly heard a lot this week about sort of the network and the network of networks, and I think us connecting into our supplier networks and doing some of this co-innovation on catalog, doing some more co-innovation on marketing, certainly very exciting. So, Rob, Eric, thank you for joining me this week on our podcast, The Why.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Our podcast, The Why, is put together by the People First team. We'll be producing The Why on a regular basis. If you have recommendations for topics, please contact the People First team. And please share this podcast with other members of our team or even outside our team. Thank you for listening to The Why.